Joshua chapter 11 verse 15. As the Lord commanded Moses, his servant, so did Moses command Joshua. And so did Joshua. He left nothing undone of all that the Lord commanded Moses. In these 50 years, we've had different times of challenges. We've had times, I remember, we're teaching the word of God, and this woman came and became soundly, thoroughly born again. And she got back home and she lived the life of what it means for a woman, a wife, a mother, to show that there is transformation in the gospel of the Lord. And the husband thought, I won't have this in this house. And then he found out, he investigated, who is the preacher? Who is the pastor that turned the heart of this woman like this? And this woman now, Bible, doctrines of the Bible. And he found out the offender, the preacher. And then I got a message. He went to the police and he said, let's drive the sin out of this man and let him release my wife. I wasn't holding his wife. I didn't even know the wife. The wife was coming to the church and hearing the word of God and living by the word. And so they said, they expect you at the police station. I said, police station? Why? What happened? And I called Brother Simon at that time. And I said, it was my security person at that time. I said, let's go. They're calling me at the police station. And then we got there and I saw the policeman sitting there and the husband of the woman sitting down there. And they said, sit down. I said, why did you come? And the man said, my wife is coming to your church. I said, I didn't know that. Good information. But she has changed. Her life is not the way I want it. Now, here, and the man was a policeman, I learned. And then he had another policeman beside him. And he said, tell my wife to leave your church, not to come there again. Because I, the husband, don't want this woman coming to deeper life. Well, all right, without going deeper. So I looked at both of them. I said, is that what you called me for? And the man said, yes. I said, you're a policeman. You know the law of the country. And you know there is freedom of religion. And your wife is coming to my church. Did I come to pick her in your house? That's what you called me for. You called me without knowing the constitution under which you operate. And I said, by the way, now, you policeman, you cannot control your wife, and you are calling me to do your job and control your wife for you. He said, I am sorry. I said, you ought to be sorry. Sorry. And I stood up. And I say, freedom of religion, remember? And I say, control your family. Don't call me again to come and control your family. And that woman remained in the church. We don't change the doctrine because a policeman called us, because they investigate this, because they investigate that. The word of God remains sacrosanct, and we will not change the word of God. What he has said to do, that is what we are going to do all the days of our lives.